Well, isn't that awfully good timing? Literally about to head to the gym for my squat and bench session, and I get a package, and it is the luggage scale which I ordered a couple of days ago. And if you watched my last video, you'll know that I'm intrigued to find out exactly how much band tension there is in the red bands when I'm benching. So that's why I bought this luggage scale, so I can actually see exactly how much band tension there is, because obviously it's different for each individual person according to arm length. So let's go and bench. I've got a single on 150 kilos to do today, and then obviously the back down sets with the band. So let's go and find out how much resistance there is in those bands.
Two hours later.
Alrighty, so you actually joined me a few hours after training because the decibel level in the gym today was off the scale. So I tried recording myself but literally couldn't hear myself, so I thought there was no point actually filming myself in the gym if you can't hear me. So I did manage to film the bands and work out exactly how much resistance they were offering, and I was actually very surprised by the results. So the trusty luggage scale came in at 15, well, it was 13.78 to 15 kilos at the top end. Like the very top end it was 15 kilos, but being conservative it was around about 13.5 kilos. So rounding that up, it's probably offering around 14 kilos at the top of the movement, and at the bottom of the movement it is offering around about 5 or 6 kilos. Obviously I can't be 100% accurate, but I was putting it exactly where I thought my hand would go, which is roughly a few inches above where you unrack the bar and just a few inches from the safeties on the bench for the bottom part of the movement. So yeah, I think it's fairly accurate, and it's surprising because I actually thought the bands were a lot lighter than that. So obviously it's around about 7 kilos per side of the band, making it around about 14 to 15 kilos at the top of the movement. So I thought that was quite interesting. Before I did the banded movements, I did 150 kilos on the bench, and that was probably the best 150 kilos has ever felt. I went into it with basically no hype up as well. So previously I've had to sort of get myself quite hyped up to get to that sort of weight, but literally went into it, the warm-ups were feeling so good, and literally just unwrapped myself. I didn't feel like I needed a spot and just got it done. So that stands me in really good stead for later in the week, where I'm going to be going for 152.5, which is definitely going to be the heaviest I've benched for a very long time, and it's only 5 kilos away from my personal best. So this sort of linear progression at the moment is really helping my bench, and yeah, it's definitely one of the movements that is just feeling amazing at the moment. Talking of movements feeling amazing, the other side of that is my squats today. They were a big disappointment because I think I was carrying a little bit of fatigue from Saturday, and I think it comes down to the back down sets that I did on the SSB on Saturday. They were very sloppy, and I think I was kind of rushing them, and by the end of that set I was feeling a little tweak in my hamstring. I think I even mentioned it in the previous video, but I didn't think it was going to be too much of an issue. But I literally got to 185 kilos today and did a triple, and when I racked it I could feel the exact same thing it's like my adductor slash hamstring. So that was really annoying. I did then do 190 for a single because it kind of calmed down for a few minutes after, but I did one single on 190 and I was just like, no, it's definitely not feeling great. So I just texted Matt and said I'm gonna have to scrap squats for today, which is very frustrating, but I think it's one of those things where if I just rest it for a good few days, by Saturday it should be good. And obviously on Saturday I'm going to be going a little bit lighter on the SSB anyway, so I'm not going to be going for any personal best, so I don't really need my adductors being like 100% intact for that. I mean, it'd be ideal to have it injury free, but yeah, at least everything's a little bit lighter at the moment. So for anyone that's interested in where I got this luggage scale from, any of you that want to do banded lifts but you don't know what the resistance is of the bands, I'll put a link in the description of where I actually found it. It's just on Amazon, literally under a tenner, and I think it's a really good investment. At least now I can objectively see what I'm lifting with my banded bench, because I've always thought it feels quite heavy at the top, to the point where it's kind of like, I feel like it is close to that 140 kilo mark. When I'm sort of benching 140, it kind of feels the same at the top. So that kind of shows that. So when I've been going up to like 125 bar weight, it shows that actually the top weight at the top of the movement is around about 140 kilos. So really good to know. And yeah, like I say, it's just going to really help me objectively going forward with my training. Anyway, I will see you on Saturday for my next bench session.
How the hell did you get here? Excuse me. Not half bad. Right, Saturday today, which only means one thing. It is my SSB and bench day. Obviously I'm not going to get as worked up as I did last week because I was going for a personal best last week and got incredibly nervous, but I'm only working up to 205 on the SSB today, so I don't have to worry quite as much about that. The only thing I am slightly apprehensive about is my adductor, because obviously on Tuesday I couldn't finish my squat session because I was getting a little bit of adductor pain. But yeah, I've had a good little rest the last few days, made sure I've had enough protein, so hopefully that doesn't bother me this session. I'm just going to take it set by set. But the big set that I'm going to be doing today is on bench, working up to 152.5 kilos, which is only 5 kilos under my best ever bench. But the way that 150 was moving on Tuesday, I'm pretty confident I've got it. So also I think Matt, my coach, is actually coming down to train with me and Craig today and just have a look through our lifts. So that's obviously an added incentive. So let's smash this pre-workout and get to the gym. Alright, so that was a 185, which is the same weight where I hurt my adductor on Tuesday, so I was a little bit apprehensive going into that, but managed to get the 2 reps. It was definitely very, very slow on the way down, which is what I'm trying to do anyway, but it was a lot more slower in general just because I was a lot more cautious about it. But yeah, I think generally I've got Matt here today coaching me through some of my SSB, and he's really sort of telling me just to slow everything down just to protect the adductor a little bit, and that generally did feel really good. So I'm pretty confident I've got 205 today. Well, I'm glad that I'm not going for a personal best today. It's feeling a little bit slow. I'm obviously got a little bit caution about my adductor, but 195 moved okay, smart casual as Matt described it. So I'm going to work up to 205. I'm going to have a spot just in case, but I don't really see it being too much of an issue. Slow, slow. so pretty happy with that. I actually went down to 200 in the end. I was a little bit more conservative just because the adductor was starting to get a little bit tight and I was thinking about it, so just took a bit more of a conservative jump to 200 kilos. Then did my back down sets of 1, 4, 5 for 5 tempos without a pause. So I think last week that's when I actually hurt my adductor, so it was good to get those done just from a mental point of view. Moving on to bench now, so we're moving on to 152.5 kilos, so just need a good old warm up and then we'll get cracking.
That's what I did. That's not good. What a bloody beautiful day it is today. Definitely don't need the hoodie. What a session that was. 152.5 absolutely flew up. I must admit I had a lot more focus there because obviously Matt was there overlooking things, so I felt like I needed to really perform, I suppose. And yeah, it just felt so good. I was really focused, and he even said to me he thinks that 160 is there now. Obviously didn't go for it today, but I genuinely think give it a few weeks or another training cycle and 160 is going to get absolutely smoked. So absolutely buzzing. Did get a little bit of a migraine halfway through the session, just where I think there's a lot of pressure on my head. So yeah, my eyesight went a little bit funny, but I do get that now and again. But yeah, I think now I'm going to go and treat myself to a cheeky KFC because I kind of feel like I've earned it and I'm absolutely starving. I literally haven't had KFC in years. I'm very excited about this. Right then, so I may have very slightly over-ordered. Look at the size of that bad boy. Cannot wait to dig into that. It's going to be very messy. It's going to be an absolute disgrace, so I won't put you through that, so I'll catch you back at home. Excuse me. Just woken up from a nap. Really good session today, but it has got me absolutely exhausted. Yeah, SSB wasn't feeling great. I think it was more because I was a little bit worried about my adductor, but actually the weights weren't moving too bad. Form was all okay. Didn't quite hit my very top set, which I was hoping for today, which was 205, so just auto-regulated it and brought it down to 200 kilos, but that moved well. I mean, it moved slow, but form was there, force production was there, so in terms of actually managing to move the weight with a good amount of force was there, without the breakdown of form. But yeah, just because something doesn't move quickly doesn't mean you're not producing force, it just means you're not producing that sort of explosive speed, which is fine because it means that I'm learning how to grind some weights as well, which is just going to translate into overall strength hopefully. So yeah, a bit of a mixed bag with SSB today, but it is what it is. Bench, however, was unbelievable, and bench at the moment is just feeling the best I think it has ever felt. 152 I actually think moved better than 150 did on Tuesday. Definitely the fact that Matt was there for that added motivation, and the fact I could get my headphones in, and I was generally just really switched on for it, because he was sort of teaching me through each set, you know, and he was allowing me to keep my composure and just keep me focused, and that really did help actually. It was great having him there. So yeah, he did mention to me that he thinks 160 is there pretty much now, but we're just going to do that sort of sensible thing of continuing to build strength, and I'm really excited about where my bench is going to be hopefully in the next few weeks / months.
I genuinely think that when I finally hit 160, it's going to be just an ordinary rep, just a training rep, and I'm not going to really get myself into any sort of tiz about it. I don't think I'm going to be going there as a max effort, because I'm only 7.5 kilos away from that now, and the way that 152 felt, I genuinely feel 160 is like just around the corner. So that's such positive, you know, that is such a positive for me in terms of my bench, because yeah, it's been one of my weaker movements comparatively to my squat and my deadlift. Sort of historically, I've always had a better squat and deadlift, but bench is really starting to raise its game a little bit. And yeah, the programming Matt has put together is literally perfect for me. I think the fact that we've put band work in has really helped as well, because that's really made my lockout really snappy. And a lot of the tempo work that has been implemented as well with the back down sets, and just a lot of the control and the descent of the normal sets as well, has really got rid of some of the tendon pain that I was feeling in my pec and my shoulders. I had like quite dodgy shoulders and pecs, I think, for a while, and I think they're pretty much cleared up now. There's sort of going to each session pretty much pain free, so that's obviously a bonus. And I think as long as I can stay injury free and continue to progress, yeah, some big numbers are coming very soon. Alright then, I think I'm going to pretty much wrap up the video there. It's been quite nice being able to talk about my bench press and have that as the primary focus of the video, because I feel like my SSB has been dominating the last few videos, because that has been the lift that has been progressing the most, so naturally I'm going to talk about that more. But it's been nice to be able to have a little chat about my bench. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you'll leave it a like if you have. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace!